So, in case you haven't noticed, I got a new microphone. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk. Today is going to be part one of a series that I've wanted to do since before I even had the idea of doing a YouTube channel. When I first learned about this in like junior high, I was so excited. I was like, this is really cool. And then over the years, I've learned more and more stuff that I really think is pretty interesting. So we're going to start part one of Humans Under a Microscope. And today we're going to be talking about cells. So, as I'm sure most of you probably know, you are an organism. And, barring any sort of random coincidence, you are likely a human. Which means that you are made up of trillions of different cells. From hair cells to skin cells to cells in your fingernails and teeth to your internal organs to all sorts of different stuff, blood cells and all that good stuff. While all of these cells might seem very different, these cells are actually very similar in terms of structure. Just like human beings have organs, cells have organelles. Alright, so the thin outer wall is called the plasma membrane. At the center we have the nucleus, and surrounding the nucleus we have what's known as the nuclear envelope. Around the nucleus we have the rough endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes. Now, I'm not really a biology major or anything like that, but I really like the word endoplasmic reticulum. It just sounds cool, in my opinion. We also note that the outside of the cell is covered in cilia, which are small hairs that, in certain cells, help the cells move around. There are lots of other parts of the cell as well, but the next part I'm going to focus on is the mitochondria. The mitochondria does have its own set of DNA, responsible for coding the proteins necessary for it to function. The function of the mitochondria is to facilitate cell respiration and store and create energy for the cell to, replicate and do all the various cellular things that cells do. And it should be noted that while the cells in your body, every cell in your body has a nucleus, and every cell nucleus has a copy of your entire genome, genes are not all activated in every cell. Only the parts of the DNA that are required for that particular cell to function are active or turned on in the particular cells. So while it is possible to study the DNA of a person from a cell on their body, again, not every part of that DNA is going to be active in every single cell. So you might be wondering, as I did for the longest time, well, there must be some sort of base state for a cell to be in before it gets specialized and certain parts of the DNA get turned on or off. And that's where stem cells come into play. During human embryonic development, cells start off as unspecialized stem cells. What's really interesting about stem cells is that they have the potential to become any cell that the body needs them to become. So, a lot of study has been going into stem cells and whether or not it's morally acceptable to use stem cells, or whether or not it's so-called right to use stem cells in treatments for various things. But it has been shown that stem cells have the capacity to repair broken cells and repair broken pathways, and it has been shown, it has been studied that stem cells can be used to raise the quality of life in certain people who are suffering certain cellular damage of a kind, whether that be nerve damage or anything like that. But again, the debate about whether or not it's ethical to use these stem cells has been going on since basically the beginning of stem cell research. And so that's basically the gist of what I wanted to cover in this first video. The next part, we're going to be talking about the microflora and microfauna living on and around your body. There's a great quote. I don't know who originally said it, but I've heard it from many different people, or many different sources. I haven't heard it directly from another person, but many different sources, that the human body is like a mothership because of all of the things living on or in us. And it's a really, really cool topic to talk about. So I'm really looking forward to that next video. But I just wanted to get to the basic, we're made of cells, cells have organelles, cells make up our organs, organs make up ourselves as an organism, kind of introductory part first before we moved on to something that I think is a tad more interesting. And part 3 is going to be on uh, sections of the brain, their specific functions, what we know about that, maybe even some psychology information. And part 4, I'm going to be talking about viruses and prions and interesting stuff like that. So over this week and next week, we're going to be continuing this series, and I hope you all stick around and enjoy. If you want to follow this series or any of the other videos I'll be putting out after, please feel free to subscribe down below. If you have any suggestions for stuff that I missed talking about cells, which there's probably a ton of stuff, and I would love to hear it because I think this stuff is just so interesting, please leave a comment down below on Facebook or tweet me on Twitter. And, if there's anything else that you want me to include in the next videos in this series, or anything else that you want me to cover going forward, again, please leave a comment on any of those sources. But until next time, have a great day.